Okay, so hello to everyone. We started the meeting United States, Canada with the people that they want to come and they are interested also to come to speak directly to the public. And Sir is with me from Canada, from Ontario, and also Rick George that right now he's in Romania with his wife. So hi Rick, we just started a little bit before. And I would like also for all the people to hear why we have a moral obligation even before this war time, because the people are afraid of a civil war and everything. Why we have the moral obligation to gather in such a peaceful way and practically to share the Gpms.world message and move forward with an autonomy system.
Well, first we need to look at GPMS is a worldwide referendum. It's a worldwide vote to change the world and to save many people very quickly. So simply, this is the substantiation, the justification for the morality of what GPMS is. It's no longer acceptable in any country or worldwide anyone to be in lack, and more importantly, 15 to 20,000 children dying each day of starvation, which can be prevented. These children are dying of starvation because of the conglomeration and the network of the governments worldwide that are keeping intact a capitalistic system which creates classes of the people, which creates division. So you have the upper class, the middle class, and the lower class. And the real statistics of this in the lower class is about 85 to 90% of the world's population. And it's unacceptable that these hardships should be inflicted upon the majority of the population by the governments. So in this great time, what people need to realize is that GPMS is the most serious movement ever in the history of man, if you will. Not only is it the most serious, it is the most powerful and most important, and it is the most moral obligation to do what is right. So having said this, each individual is compelled and morally obligated to vote for this new world. On the flip side of that, if they know about GPMS and they don't support it and they don't vote for it, then it means an abstinence of voting means that they condone a criminal world that is inflicting much misery and harm upon humanity. So it becomes, if they are moral, to make this choice. So it merely needs to be explained to the people that worldwide there is an election that is occurring right now, and everyone needs to vote in it. And what this election is for a replacement system, a new world, rather than this savage system, what is here. So people are actually voting for this savage, powerless system, or they're voting for the new, civilized, abundant, prosperous, abundant and free world. And with this, each one needs to do it. For if they hesitate, the longer they hesitate and don't vote, for every minute, children are dying. And not only children dying, children go missing. In the USA alone, every day, over 2,000 children go missing. And yes, it's the system that's responsible for that. One thing that GPMS does that corrects this is brings the family unit back together in the US, where the children are not left alone and both parents working and are not going to school. So that family bonding and unit is coming back together. And what this does, it ends the violence and children leaving home on their own accord, but also being kidnapped and taken by, let's say, nefarious ones. But just to keep it simply, I could take this right into the full dynamics and depth at showing how GPMS is the solution for every problem. But I don't need to say this. It is the moral obligation and the common sense of every individual to vote, and vote now for GPMS. Every day that one hesitates, more or less, I will say this, you are an accomplice to a crime that is committed every day worldwide, because you're allowing it to exist. You're condoning it. You are not standing up to stop it and prevent it. Everything what GPMS does can be done in an instant, meaning poverty wiped out instantly worldwide. Everyone needs to do what is morally right and vote for this now. It is the full solution. GPMS has everything in its dynamics. It is concrete. It is the new civilization for humanity. It is a complete package. It is not ad hoc. It has the complete plan, complete strategy, complete direction, and the complete end goal, which is the implementation of the civilized world. And it becomes each one's obligation to make a vote to support this new world rather than supporting the savagery. So there is no escape by any worldwide. There is no justification for you not to be voting unless you are an actual evil one themselves. Then yes, you would not vote, because if you are evil, you wish to create harm and inflict consistent harm and misery upon humanity, which leads very quickly to death for many. Over 30,000 worldwide each day, it leads to death because of the system. And GPMS has the full solution to change the system, and instantly. With the numbers we have in GPMS now, over about 66,000, if you just use the number, the power of 3, within a month, it's around the world and everyone is voting for it, and it's done. This is how quick GPMS can be done, ideally within a month. But what it is the moral hesitation by the majority at not accepting and knowing that they have this power, but also not knowing yet that they have to do something. And this is where the worldwide lockdowns and everything that has transpired in the last 3 years is telling every soul upon the planet, you have to do something. You have to stand up. You cannot let this continue. So you are morally obligated to make a stand. It is common sense by the majority that the present power regime is actually inflicting the harm. They are not doing what is in the best interest for humanity. That's why GPMS is doing it. And GPMS is fully divinely backed by God and all divinity, or it would not even be possible. So we need to add that in there. Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to ramble.
No, I have a lot of questions, especially after Romania meeting. So coming from there, because I also understood what happens, and this is probably also a little bit in East Europe where you are right now. And practically this civil disobedience is the right to say no. And right now you are saying much more than that. It's not only the right to say no, it's also the moral obligation to say no and to move forward with Gpms.world. And what I would like, practically, it was a question yesterday about the civil war right now, that the people may be involved because the banking system will go down, and practically the people will lose also the money, but not only the money, they will lose the access to use the banking system how they want, because there will be restriction on, for example, in Romania, there will be restriction on cash, how much they can also use the cash, how much they can also pay bills and everything per month. There will be one amount that will go down every probably all the time since now. And practically other restriction like vaccination in place and everything. And practically right now the question, it's a little bit based on fear that the people will be compliant again. And this is the reason that a movement like civil disobedience started in Romania, because do not let the people on the situation to obey again the system, and to know that they have the right to say no. So what can be done? Because inside of GPMS we started with 5.7, 5.8 billion people that we were able to, with the soul, that we were able to practically to save them, to bring all together. After that, we started to say that the number is coming towards 5 billion. So right now in the front of a civil war, so what might happen and what could be done, because we are probably almost there. And as I can see right now, also the military from Romania, they try to send a signal that the project, it's the globalist project, it's extremely advanced and we have to do something. So how can we move forward and what could be the number? Because the civil war seems to be exactly there.
Let me say first, when you look at the term civil disobedience, when you look at what they are labeling as civil, it's not, it is savage. So it needs to be made clear that something savage doesn't have any authority to begin with. And again, when the focus is put on internationally within every nation to go against a very small political structure, they are distracted from creating the new. And it's all designed within each nation to have that continuing animosity where ones are played by political parties as they know. And when the political parties get in, nothing changes. If anything, it gets worse, because the game is designed that way. And ones have procrastinated and wasted centuries of time engaged into a senseless fight that never does anything, because when they're in that, they are actually disempowering theirself, and their attention is distracted from uniting worldwide and just create the new system. So, you know, when we look at this, GPMS, yes, can be implemented into one country first, and very easily it can be done. But the thing is, again, with any of these, it's difficult to do. This is why GPMS does it all at once worldwide by uniting the people from every nation into one universal nation of people that cannot be destroyed or disempowered. So this new universal nation of GPMS, once we have the majority vote, then what it does, it assimilates the old reality and the old power structure and not contest nor contend with what GPMS is. So by putting the peaceful focus on the united assembly of the peoples worldwide, by bringing them together as one, what it does, it eradicates all of the problem. Let's take Romania, if I may, for 1 second. Let's use Romania as an example of, let's say, GPMS being implemented in Romania. Yes, very simply, it can be done. So what you look at first off is, do you need the internet? Do you need the financial routing system? Well, the first answer to that with GPMS is no, because when you have the majority of the people in the country that have voted for GPMS, then they take the rightful and lawful peaceful ownership of the physical printing presses inside of Romania. So what this means that then everyone has access to a physical cash flow where they are not dependent upon the internet or the financial routing system as well. So you could have a self-sustained economy, if you will, within Romania with your electric, with your power source. You have many dams and a natural technology with solar energy and other sources that is Romania's itself. So when you look at what would you need, when you look at perhaps gas, so then when you look at gas and fossil fuels coming in, what I wish to say is that then some agreements are usually made in the past with an outside country. But what do you have in here? Do you have the sustainable resources that you can do it on? But this is where it begins to get complicated. Why I say that one nation really cannot do it, that it takes universally all the nations together, because that is where all of the unlimited resource is that uplifts every nation. And in the past, with nations on their own or a country like Romania, if you're to go and do this, then you are sanctioned by the other governments that are still part of the dark system in other countries. So then they trap you, and then you have no choice but to submit to their system. So ideally, GPMS says no. At the same time, in every nation worldwide, we are uniting it to make a united nation of the people, a universal nation of the people worldwide. And what this does, it fully tears down, deconstructs the old power regime, and it empowers the people to do what is morally correct to do. I don't know if that fully answered what you.
Yes, and this is also available for Canada too. So practically we can start GPMS here and everywhere.
Every
Serg,
country.
yes. So Serg, do you have a question or do you have something to say for Canada?
Yes, hi everyone. It's like we are very slow in the Canada progress, like in the constant. I don't know how we can a little bit fasten up all the signatures of the people. I'm just talking around with the people, but it's going slow and slow. I don't know if any ideas. It's like how to do it better and faster. It's like only talking doesn't help. Maybe I don't know. Something else can work this time. Do you hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. Yes. I'm just driving, but you know, it's a good connection or not.
Yeah. You know, with this, this is why also at the same time, divinely, these other suppressive measures worldwide are allowed to occur. And because I like to say they're being divinely forced into having no choice but not to accept the old system and choose the new one. But the thing is, Serge, what you're saying, because of various degrees of fear yet, they cannot readily see GPMS. Some of them cannot even actually with their eyesight see the word of it because of the fear and a lot of the programming and brainwashing that was there, more notably in the Western civilization, and also Europe. I need to count, as a Western civilization, if you will, because they've had it so good, if you will, but through that goodness, unbeknownst to them, they have been brainwashed into a monotonous, robotic reality, if you will. So we are, what we do, and thank God fully for the great awakening, because there are ones, that are knowing this, that are awakening, and that's continuing. And as they do, they are joining together with GPMS, or at least they are on their awakened journey to change things. But yeah, and with this, sir, what we always suggest is, if someone is not open to GPMS, don't even waste your time, because they can't see it. It's better to, as we're doing, being the beacons of light and just putting it out there, and let them come to us instead of going out looking for them, if you will. Now, sometimes we test the waters with looking for them by, what look like, or what could be genuine leaders or influencers of the people. But our so far, the track record with that is that the actual influencers of the people are also rejecting GPMS, and they're not even giving it to their people. And, there is the controlled opposition element that is in there with the darkness, because there is a spiritual battle that's occurring. And when you look at the darkness, they are the masters, they were the masters of deception and trickery and illusion. So they will come in, making ones believe that they are genuine, to keep ones complacent or lead them astray from their full power. So when we give to a influencer GPMS, immediately, if they are a genuine leader of the people, they would say, yes, GPMS is the solution. Now I give this to my people that are following me, and I say, come on, people, it's a simple worldwide vote. This is the thing that ends all. But what we're seeing is, when we give it to these ones, most of them, if not all, or almost all, are rejecting it. So immediately, when you look at this, you say, okay, hold it for a minute. These are supposed to be people that are in, or leaders that are in the best interests of the people. But here's the full solution handed to them on a silver platter, and they're throwing it away and keep their mind on their own agenda. So very quickly, this is fully telling at who is genuine and who is not. And there is no justification nor excuse for any of these rejecting it, because it's common sense. It's common sense, and it's simple to the extent that it's a worldwide vote, and everyone knows the majority rules. And this is the first time ever worldwide that there's been a worldwide vote referendum. It's unprecedented. But the power of that, so any leader could say, okay, wait a minute, if we got 5 billion people, with just the majority, all voted for this new world, it has to happen, because there's nothing, no one left but perhaps a billion to support an old world that robs those billion of all of their worth and everything else. So it doesn't make sense. So what I'm saying is, any bona fide, genuine leader of the people would see GPMS very quickly. So what this does, it identifies what we call the false narratives that are out there, and the minions of the darkness that are keeping the people dependent upon an illusion that does not occur. And it's part of their tactics while they keep the people busy thinking that something's going to occur, then they are constantly going forward with their agenda of mass extermination of the planet. So they have attempted the mass genocide. There's been millions that have lost their lives so far, and that is increasing exponentially because, again, as the DNA evolves within the people, what occurs is with what was in, let's say, the injections, what was in there is parts of RNA and also DNA. And what occurs if these gets hooked into another's DNA while it's constantly restranding, then it begins, if you will, to short circuit the one out, and they die. A physical death is what's occurring. When you look at the adverse effects, everything, or for the most part, will point to neurological damage, electrical, and that's what it was meant also to do, if you will, to short circuit the electromagnetic field of every human being. And every human being has it for the simple reason, if you're having a heart attack, the first thing the paramedics would do would put on the defibrillator to give you electric shocks. So this tells you, if electric shock, that you are electric, or there would not be any benefit from it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
thank
sir,
you for the answer.
yes?
Yeah, like you said, thank you for the answer. Yeah, it's only one way we can do now. It's look like keep showing the message, keep like be present, keep shining the light, and just waiting for the old system to break down as soon as possible. And they are. It's like time is like not in the favor for them. Time is for the favor for the new reality, for GPMS. You can only like, I don't know, stand by and just show the GPMS message to everyone as much as possible.
So
Yeah.
there is also a situation regarding the practically, it's not a title, it's like regarding this sovereignty, individual sovereignty status. So it's about the status. And we know that many people, they try to detach from the actual system because they saw also the opportunity to do that, even that it is expensive. And others, they pass also via the juridic system, and there they were arrested, especially in Canada, in British Columbia, not in British Columbia, in the east, a little bit in near Nova Scotia, so it's still a province there. And practically the people are looking for this status, individual sovereignty status. But as I said all the time, they are not able to link that the individual sovereignty is coming from natural law. So this information somewhere, it's not done very well via internet, because if they will link that this is coming from universal natural law, they will understand that Gpms.world is practically the system of that is giving the people the status, this status of individual sovereignty. And practically everything that they try right now on their own, GPMS is doing a system. So this is just another aspect that the people are not able to see that. And all the time it's coming that they still believe that the good, if they replace a president, then from there everything may start in a good way. And this is practically just continue the pyramid system, and it's nothing else. But they see right now, they were able to detect like the link among the president, and they are saying if the president from France is going down, if the president from Romania is going down, In Canada, we have Trudeau. Also, we have in the United States Biden. So if they will be replaced, all of them, then they will have everything that they want. But first of all, this is not true. And for example, when I'm telling to the people, when they vote inside of the pyramid system, they come against their rights and they come against my rights, they are not able to see that. So how can we explain better the link with individual sovereignty? There it's only individual sovereignty, not national one. And this, when you go towards the pyramid system, you are losing your own rights, and also you get away the other people's rights. So practically do not let them to express their rights, because it's a system that compress them and do not let to manifest how they really are in reality.
Well, let me begin with, and I will use the word mistake. One, it's not a mistake per se, but it is as well, meaning that it's not a mistake because it's part of one's learning journey to understand the dynamics of autonomy, full universal freedom, and versus sovereignty, the word sovereignty. But so going to the mistake part of it, one of the mistakes is that when one thinks that they are claiming sovereignty, that they need to ask approval, if you will, from a power by sending them papers. And once they do that, they are recognizing an authority outside of their self, which is actually disempowering them and is segregating and separating them further. So this is in direct contrast with full autonomy and universal law at uniting all together as one with the ultimate freedom. So sovereignty, the way most are doing it, and ones are capitalizing off of this and making big money, when in actuality and truth, you only need to proclaim out loud to yourself, you can write it on a paper, that you're already free, because you're activating your intrinsic value and your unalienable rights that you already have. These are your intrinsic, your inherent rights. They are already there within you. So you have the choice to embark upon a course of wasting money and wasting time to try to claim a sovereignty by recognizing another authority, which just segregates you further and separates you from the true power and from yourself. So it is in conflict and contrast to the full autonomy, which instantly liberates you. And it instantly liberates you when you make this proclamation and declaration, a decree that can be read on our website. Apparently it's not there now, but we're fixing that again. It was there. By making this statement, you are enacting the most lawful decree upon the planet. And why it's lawful is because it's coming from your creator status, which is above the system, because you are moral, the system is immoral, and that places the system below you. So if you're asking an immoral system to recognize you as a sovereign, what you're actually doing is deflating, disempowering yourself. So in the moment, your full divine authority and what you really are is activated, and then you stand by it and you stand in it. And with my current teachings, this is part of one of the current themes that I will be expanding upon to explain to ones as well. So with the sovereignty, what it's actually doing, it's their definition of sovereignty, trying to protect themselves. But the thing is, we own the entire system worldwide as well. So if one separates from that system, they are segregating and separating themselves on an imploding spiral that eventually they need something from the outside world. There are very, very few that can be self-sustained. And even when you look at land and the land ownership, the way it is right now, the land ownership is fully in the hands of the darkness and the governments. So this also, because of this, it doesn't matter what country you are in, if that old dark power regime of governments stays in power, you're going to be found, you're going to be rustled out, and you're going to be overpowered. So now is the time. Don't go into that. Join together the strength in numbers with the worldwide unity, and we create the new reality. See, their laws, when you're asking also a system that is an artificial system of law, when you're asking them for your sovereignty, you're not going to get it. It is not the true sovereignty, because the real absolute law is above any of the laws upon the planet that are man-made. So you are going to your intrinsic law that is internal. This is your internal law, and this has the superiority over any man-made law in restriction. This intrinsic law is based on morality, which is the highest, supreme, impartial law. Every man-made law out there is not impartial. Their judges are not impartial. They are biased. There is always a conflict of interest. They are invalid, null and void, and inferior to the absolute intrinsic autonomy and of the universal nation of GPMS. So there is no battle, there is no conflict with the old system. It's the overpowering it as the people choose. And it's as simple, as I said earlier, it could be done in a month.
Yeah, so Rick, there is something that the people needs to understand too. It's this link with we are equal, autonomy, and also we have, every one of us has the direct link with the creator. Because the people started to say, do I have this link with the creator by myself? Yes, for sure. You do not need a third individual to tell you that, or a third individual to come and to tell you that if you did something wrong yesterday, the God will get away everything that you did wrong, because there is a third individual, you know, between you and the God that is making the link. And this is also this authority like a president, you know, that it's all the time a third individual that will make you believe that it's coming to tell you how to do, what to do, you know, what you may have. But practically there are only restrictions, because when you have your connection directly with the creator, then there everything is coming. And practically we are equal, because all of us, we have this connection with the creator. And the system can be also only one. It is the autonomy system. We cannot have a pyramid. So it's just inside of this autonomy, we are equal, and the link with the creator. And where the link with the creator, it is inside of us and not it is external, you know, making all the time reference to a creator, external and everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. To keep it simple for anyone, if you believe in God, that means you're connected. So it's simple. You might not see God, you might not interact with God, you may not feel God, but as long as you believe, that is your connection, and it goes further as we go forward with this. So yeah, there's Anyone that believes is connected. And also there are, let's say, a few that are atheist and agnostic, but they are also connected when it needs to be time. You will have the atheists of the minions, because that is the perspective they are scripted with to put out, and they are not connected to prime creator. But any that believes in God, you know, they all are, if you will, and are going forward to whatever degrees. So there is the variable with how many are physically taking their vessels forward with this ascension. But nevertheless, keep your faith fully. And when you act in your divine power, what you see is your reality will begin to change, because you're also standing with God in the divine forces and not allowing that old reality to exist. And by doing this, you will also begin to see profound things in your reality, how things will begin to work different, but are more supported with the new reality. So keep your faith fully, your belief in your trust in God, and GPMS is the divine plan put here by Creator for this effect, for all of those that believe, and we go forward with this. So, I can say this, each one of you don't know it's true, but I constantly declare and proclaim that it is. And each one to their own degree, when it's time, they come to get their own confirmations, that it is. And they also feel and know that GPMS is the most moral and righteous thing to do. And when they come into alignment, then they unite like all of us. So, and we are changing the world, and none of us, I would not be doing this if it was not totally guaranteed. I can say that again. I've said it before. I just put out also, again, a public worldwide notice. It hasn't gone very far, I don't think yet, but it's the plebiscite. And I put also, it's a plebiscite / referendum, to also, one of the reasons I did this, to let ones also feel that we actually know about artificial man-made law, but we also know the superior law, and we also are well educated in all law to be able to do what GPMS is, to transition out of a artificial legal fiction system into the full divine law, and the law of one universal law, the moral law, if you will. And also with this, we surpass all of the debates through theology and scholars, if you will, and we just go to the simple top. This is the law. This is the law of God. God is not a God of fear and destruction. God is a God of love, peace, and harmony. What has occurred upon the planet, God did not create this. It was all of the souls agreeing and allowing it to happen, what the darkness was perpetrating and imposing upon them. But in this glorious time, that darkness, it's all over. Humanity is advancing into civility out of this savage, ridiculous world, and it's guaranteed. And this is why nothing can stop, nothing can oppose GPMS for what it is, because it is divine. So it's again, I repeat and re-say these things, but always there's someone new that sees it, and it brings them on board, because it's also divinely orchestrated. With this time, everything happens for a reason. Everything is divinely predetermined to the most degree upon the planet. So we have more brothers and sisters. They're out there, and I know this. And, you know, each day some more of them come and trickle in when it's time. And with every one that trickles in, it adds the energy to the whole, many multiples of what they are. And again, with this, what I wish to say is that one of the divine inspirations is once we have a round table of about 300 representatives from all around the world, then if it's required, we put out this panel asking if the government still exists, where's your 250 government representatives, you know, which are presidents, prime ministers, kings. Okay, let's have a debate. Now you come to the table with your platform for the people, but here we have 300. You're outnumbered. But are you going to attempt to offer anything for the people? And the thing will be no. And also with their medias, what we have, the people actually own all of the media. It's the people's sweat equity that created everything upon the world, which establishes their bona fide shareholder status of everything. And this again becomes the moral obligation and responsibility of the people to take the rightful and lawful ownership and do what is right with them, which includes the internet and the financial routing system and all of the technologies to advance humanity forward. I put out a post earlier today, to profit from pain is savage. And that's what it is. And that's what's been allowed to occur. You look in the US, look in Africa, if you need health assistance, you got to pay for it. Even in Africa, they're turned away if they don't have any money. That is sick and it's savage and it's no longer acceptable worldwide. But it's part of the nation's artificial laws and legislation that does this. And you don't even need common sense to know that it's morally wrong. So it's all imploding and it's breaking down.
So Rick, we have already 400 contributors in GPMS, but they are not coming to a round table. So we invite everyone to come to the round table, but I believe that because they are coming from so many countries, you know, it's also a language problem. So probably this is the reason that I'm not saying shut down these meetings per countries, but started to keep them as continents more, and started to come also on the round table as their one will be tomorrow, because I saw that Lee made an announcement for tomorrow meeting for the contributors, and I hope that they will come also forward to speak, because they started a little bit, you saw in writing, but when it is the time to speak in the front of a camera, wow, they are not here. So,
but that's part of, you know, a little bit of their fear to overcome. But the important thing you said, in many countries, because of the different languages, what you will come to find ideally in every country worldwide, to represent that country, they will be at least bilingual, but English will be one of their languages, and it's already divinely set, you know, for this special time, meaning that there will be, at least in every country, one representative that can speak English, and that's what creates the panel. And what you're also seeing is there are more potential or are already here leaders that are out there with GPMS, but their focus is intent on creating as much of the voice, if you will. If we take India, I will, as an example, I recognize more than one divine round table representative there, even though we're not seeing much of them yet. Their focus is on getting the word to the people and collecting that huge vote there. So having said this, they are there. We're just not at the point of having the huge round table yet, because there needs to be, obviously some more voice collected and to make this bigger as well. But they are there, and what occurs organically as we reach that magical time for the round table, the numbers have also reached a substantial amount that people take notice, of the universal nation of GPMS with 100 million or whatever it may be, or 30 million. It's these numbers with the universal nation is very substantial. And when you look at the smallest recognized nation upon the planet today, the Vatican, it has around 1,000 is belongs to that nation, and that's one of the smallest. So when you look at GPMS having 1 million, 30 million, or 100 million, you see the actual power of it, with the people also aligned with the full plan, the full solution. And virally, it happens because nothing can stand against it, including a network of nefarious evil governments worldwide. So it all crumbles, and it is replaced. So we don't have to. This is why GPMS is fully peaceful. We just overpower by doing the peaceful things. We don't need to add to any destruction. We don't need to be aggressive. We don't need to confront it, because in reality, there is no contest. We just overpower it, and it assimilates and replaces the old system. But when you have ones that are down here fighting, they're being distracted, and it's prolonging getting the new world created. So we have the whole thing here. It's just that these ones are tricked into fighting and civil disobedience, or what have you, what they call that. And this is keeping them distracted from doing the most powerful thing.
So I personally, I just have a small subject for today. It is the war in Israel, Palestine, or something like, because the people also from here, they think to the war time because it's influenced by the war in Israel, and also the people in the East Europe, they are thinking to the war time because they are saying this will be coming also towards the Romania, and this invasion of the people worldwide, that the people are moving and they have no their place where to live and everything, and they attack others, they have not the resources to live. So this pressure, how can you see this war practically going to an end? Because we know that we can put the end to any kind of war with Gpms.world, but the people are still asking, how can we do that? What it is, because we are saying, yes, we can do, but please tell to the people how we can do that to put any war down.
Thank you, Beatrice. That's a very excellent question. And it's a very difficult one yet at this moment. If we look right where we're at now on that lower timeline with the Israel war occurring, or if it may be over, I don't know, but occurring simultaneously as the new world is being constructed. So there is a destruction factor, which is in tandem with the construction as well. So to bring the full peace again, as you're seeing with the present numbers of GPMS, it is having some effect, but it's not doing that yet, because what you also have is many of the people worldwide that are not fully awake. They're putting their energy and their focus on this war, which is keeping a fearful event and timeline alive. And this is keeping the war alive as well. And until we have enough, whatever magic number that is, aligned with GPMS, you're not going to see the peace. What is occurring is, what ones need to know is that you never know what was avoided by GPMS being here in the first place. Meaning that if it wasn't here right at this time, you would be suffering a very, very difficult controlled reality that is even more enslaved. So you never truly know from this point, from this vantage point, what has been avoided. So having said there could have been a nuclear war far before now. So was that avoided? It has been, because we haven't experienced it. So by the result of doing what we're doing is having an effect towards peace. So there are, I did say about a month ago that there were going to be two timelines, and this was prophesized, that there'll be the higher timeline where, because there is an ascension going on, where ones work more on their inner self at getting rid of that fear, because that establishes the peace, while the lower timeline with the wars, chaos, a lot of destruction has to occur also for the people to be able to make the choice. They need to see how bad it actually is so that they can choose also the right thing. So we have two things going congruently. And what those two things are is that one's by seeing the war and are surrendering to their self, to their morality being activated, then they're able to perhaps see GPMS. So you have a trickling of those ones that constantly come in when they're able to recognize the solution. But there's that element, as I mentioned earlier, with the war, these ones are unable to even perceive what GPMS is. They're unable to even see the word if it's out there. If they're scrolling in Facebook, there could be 10 GPMS posts in their feed, but it wouldn't even register with them that it's there. They wouldn't even see them because of their alignment with fear yet. So, you know, with this, it's it is a delicate question to that degree, because there's so many variables that are playing into this. But GPMS is the absolute peace. It does establish it because it has the full guidelines to establish full peace. But again, humanity has to agree that they want peace, and they have to agree all in one place, and it has to be ratified. And this is what GPMS is doing, is ratifying peace through all of the accords, all of the agreements. And once the majority does this, peace is upon the planet for good, and it cannot never be any other way. The reason why there's war here now is because there's never been a peace accord that's been lawfully ratified by the majority of the people. What has actually occurred is you've had governments that are putting, let's say, treaties and constitutions in place that have no value, and they are null and void, but people think that they are. It's a false sense of security that the governments were giving people while they continue their wars. So these governments are never ratified by the people. When you look worldwide, prior to GPMS, have the people worldwide ever been asked the question in a lawful referendum, do you wish for all the individual governments to be here? And if you do, vote. So then we put this into law. It's never been done. The Nuremberg Agreement is nothing but a gentleman's agreement, but it's also an illusion. And one of the reasons why is because it's from the perspective that international law will endorse it. But the truth is, with international law, it's all part of the artificial laws, the man-made law, the man-made system. And the actual ones that are put in place to enforce international law are the perpetrators, are the governments themselves. So this is why there's never any peace or any gratification for the people or satisfaction or abundance, because their whole legal fiction system, which is connected to their money, is their control system. And this is why GPMS takes these two main staples of society, flips them upside down, doing what is right with the simple divine law and a full equal monetary system. And what this does, it eradicates and dissolves that old system. Then world peace is established. But at the same time, the remnants of darkness knows that GPMS is out there. It is their biggest nightmare. It is what they are so afraid of, and why, they'll send their minions in and spam your posts, or they'll censor or what have you. But it doesn't have any effect when you look at it, because GPMS daily is growing. And as we said, GPMS is from the heart and also worldwide by word of mouth. Without any internet, you can get it done worldwide. So it's inevitable. It cannot be stopped. But, their attempts will throw little wrenches in it, but it also gives, it opens the door for others' knowledge on how to circumvent what they do. And, it's quite a game, because it's a funny game, because eventually the minions are overpowered, and, what they tried to do has no effect on it. So we keep the focus on this, on the new world, and that dissolves everything of the old.
Yeah, exactly. And for all the people that they are afraid because of the internet to start to think to Tesla towers, and also to the free energy and any kind of generator of free energy. And also for the people that they need money, they need house, they need a car, they need everything. Everything they need, they should come inside of Gpms.world, because from here we start everything. So especially in Canada, sir, we are 40 million of people and we have a lot of land. So it's only the restriction in place that do not allow us to have free land, organic house, big house, sun and everything. So it's all this restriction in place, is nothing else. So if the people want to move from the movement of Trudeau must go, to come inside of Gpms.world, because Gpms.world anyway is doing Trudeau must go, because there will be no prime minister, there will be no queen king for Canada, no president, nothing. So it will be only we the people. If you have something to say, Serg, and because you are also in Ontario, so how the Ontario is doing, and you travel and you can see also a little bit coast to coast.
Yeah, Ontario is like doing slowly putting consent. But personally, I don't know, I have a lot of friends who did it, and just a lot of, I don't know, like a stranger who does it, like a consent, like a GPMS. And it's like, still it must be faster way to progress this voting, but it is what it is. It's like hoping for the changes, hoping for the crashing of the old system, and it's like people will have like a more opportunity to do this, like putting consent to the GPMS, because otherwise they will be keep, I don't know, energetically supporting their own systems. And that's why the old have to go as soon as possible. And maybe some big changes gonna come over, and just, I don't know, it's gonna be done sooner than later.
So, Rick, if you want to add something for today meeting, your mic is closed.
Yeah. No, I didn't hear what Serg was saying, but I wanted to just add, I received, how will I put this? Yeah, I received a Galactic transmission just the other day that, and what it is a message that I believe will be put out very shortly, and I'll share for the first time here with you, both of you, and whoever watches this. The message has been put out as a suggestion for the worldwide moral good military and police to begin to, let's say, stockpile for their families for perhaps 2 months. And let me say, yet I have not been given the direction when to put this out. But when you look at this message, what come in, this is also a very serious message, because one of the things that it entails is where it's specified good moral military, it also means that there's a dark part of the military. And what it also suggests is that their employers, which is the governments in the darkness, if you will, and also that monetary system may not be there for them. So it also could mean that the military and the police are given the divine word to prepare, where they may also, if the old monetary system is there, they may have to leave their careers of police and military. And so what I'm saying is this is very significant, because when you look at any human souls in police and military that are moral, they cannot support those careers. They cannot remain as a military officer nor police. And I'm also given this to specify the lower ranks. Because it's also become apparent that the higher ranks in military and police are actually, for the most part, minions of darkness. So there is a separation that is also going to be occurring, which is very important. And it's a very good sign to see this, because, as I said before, any that is aligned with aggression, like the military, if you will, they can no longer be part of war. So this ties into what you were asking earlier about how peace also will be established. So there is a divine firm hand that is being put in here. It looks like separating the wheat from the chaff within the military and the police, if you will, separating the good ones out, get prepared, have provisions for about a couple months for you and your family. So it's not about the military personnel individually for the most part. It's about their families that they are guardians of, and the responsibility that they have to ensure that there is enough provisions for them. So it could mean the monetary system continues, but these ones may need to leave their jobs and make sure in the near term that they have enough provisions, because also at the point, if they have to leave their jobs quickly, there will be a severance of pay from the old system as well. So this message will go out for them to begin to stockpile with their pays they're getting already, to make sure they have a stockpile to be prepared for this time. So this is a very serious message. It's not put out publicly yet. I've been not told to publicly put it out yet, but I do feel it's coming shortly.
Wow.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
this is huge. Wow. I never hear this in Gpms.world until now.
If the government will not have a protection from like
Oh,
majority
yeah,
of the
there's
police and army, it's gonna fall down as like I don't know, like in a second.
when you actually look at the military or police, if they're acting out of aggression and trying to take away your rights, they are acting immoral. So it's there is no contest again with that. But nevertheless, yeah, this is what's occurring. And what I say, the galactic component is very real. You're seeing more and more ships being recorded by ones, showing that presence is actually here. And it's a benevolent presence for to see all this extraterrestrial activity in the skies. And with humanity still fine, it's showing they are benevolent and they are the divine forces that is overseeing things. Many times missiles have vanished out of the sky, aircraft, military ships frozen right in space, if you will, on the water, unable to move. All of these things have been prevented by a supernatural force, which is divine, and it's divinely assured that things don't get out of hand. And it's why there has not been a nuclear war, because there is another factor, another force that is overseeing and also ensuring this, that it doesn't get out of control. So yeah, so it's happening, but it's very few, that know and see all of these things yet. As each of you know, you have to be awake to a certain degree before these things come into your awareness.
Yeah.
But it's happening.
Thank you so much for this excellent news, because finally something will happen. And so it's not because somebody, I'm not here to be happy because somebody else will be not happy in 1 month or 2 months. I'm here to be happy for all the human race, that maybe something will happen and we are able to get outside from this criminal system. Then from there we start and we gather everyone. And what can I say? I will prepare also a short video with this message specific from the whole video today, and we'll start to share. And much more it's coming for sure for tomorrow, because tomorrow we have the Lee meeting. Lee will be the host there, and he will keep the meeting for all the contributors. And right now, Gpms.world started to gather around 400. So I hope that they will start also to be to have also activity online and to come directly on the Zoom room and to have their question answer, and also how they share message to others. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much as well, Beatrice and Serg, and love, light, and gratitude, and have an amazing day. Let's see.